I think we've had a good week. I really, as you guys know, the rules that we have now, we get to spend a lot of time with our guys when school's in session. And what really changes is obviously we go from the 8-hour week to the 20-hour week, but excited about our guys. I think they've worked hard. They're certainly working hard together, and we know we still got work to do. We've got to improve, and there's not an area that we don't have to improve in, but certainly some ones that we're really concentrating on is our ball screen defense has got to be better, and we've got to do a better job of really guarding the basketball. And then offensively, the way we like to play, protecting the ball. But overall, it's been a good week, and happy with where we are right now.
Grant?
Rick, how's this team different than a year ago?
I think they're older. Grant, I do. I think the fact that they're older, they've been through it, but just because we're older doesn't mean we're going to be better unless we make ourselves better. And what that means is we can never allow complacency to set in. I think that when you look at our team, the additions to our team, and we're excited about our young players, that the competition has been really good, but we've got to look at where we were a year ago, and like I said, some of the areas I mentioned are where we know we've got to get better. We have to, but obviously we're counting on the leadership that we had a year ago to pick up not only where it left off, but to take it to another level. And there's not one person in the program that doesn't have to get better some way, somehow. But we've had a great attitude about, I think, guys being able to look at what they need to get better at, and they're working at it.
Ryan, then Jimmy and Vince.
What's the significance of having two guys like Santi and Josiah that aren't just seniors but have played significant minutes since their freshman seasons?
Well, I'd say one is their basketball IQ. They both really have a terrific basketball IQ when it comes to understanding what we're trying to do as a team, and they not only know what they're supposed to be doing, but they really have a pretty good feel for what all the other positions call for. And the more you can get guys to understand that really is when you can start mixing and matching and doing a lot of fun things from a coaching standpoint. But to have two of them that truly understand it the way they do is you don't get it sometimes, but we've got that, and so not only are they when they're playing, whether in practice or in a game, they impact the game when they're not, because they're able to coach and they're able to help guys coming out of timeouts or just on the sideline during practice. I will look over some, and those guys are involved with the guys that have just come out, or I've told them to step back until they can figure something out. Those guys are great to be there to say, hey, this is what we're looking for. This is how we do it. This is what you have to do. And so when you have two guys like that, it's a tremendous help to your team.
Rick, I think you had said you want to play faster. What's the key to that? Is it guard play? Is it rebounding, defense?
Jimmy, it's probably a little bit of all of it, but playing faster is it's a mindset. But what goes with that mindset is understanding that that we've got to be solid defensively. We know that. We've got to have that every night, because we're playing against teams that if you don't guard them, they can ring you up for a lot of points. But passing it with more authority, moving the ball quicker, harder, quicker cuts, definite cuts, learning how to set screens better, use screens better. So I tell our guys often, we could end the possession earlier if we execute earlier in the possession, as opposed to thinking that, okay, we come off a screen when we're open, as opposed to taking an open shot, because we're not going to ask a guy to come off a screen if we don't think he's capable of scoring it. But when that player decides he's going to try to do more than he needs to, and then it extends the possession, which oftentimes will turn into turnovers. Or I always say, you go looking for trouble, you're going to find it. We just want guys to, as much time as we spend on working with them to get better individually, when the shot's there, we want to take it. And believe it or not, you'd think, well, most guys want to shoot the ball. Well, I can show you tape where they really don't, because there's opportunities there where the possession should be over with, but it's not.
Rick, you mentioned earlier mix and match with Josiah and Santi, but how much of an advantage is it in today's college basketball to have versatile players, whether it's position, whether it's roles, things like that, to be able to manage things on the fly?
There's a lot of different ways to play this game. There really are, and everybody, I think, has to decide what it is. But when you can put guys out there that really can play multiple positions, it gives you a great advantage. Where like yesterday for the first time, we had 5 guards on the court, and just playing with that to see what we could do, trying to figure out what and how we could utilize that. But it all gets back again. I mean, offensively, you can do a lot of different things. There's a lot of, we've got, like Jonas. Jonas really shoots the ball really well. It's not a matter where you can play as a 7-footer. It's not a matter where you can play on offense. It's what position can you guard defensively. And that's where I think if you can mix it and match it where you can guard all 5 spots with all 5 guys, that's when you've got a chance, because offensively it makes it really difficult for those guys that aren't used to playing on the perimeter to be out there trying to guard guys that especially that are willing to shoot the 3. But when you talk about the mix and match, you've got to obviously think about the defensive end too. Can we guard with that lineup? And I think we'll find that out early if depending on how much we can use that lineup in our 2 exhibition games.
Mike, Wes, and Rob.
You mentioned the 2 exhibition games. Why was it important to schedule those games with those opponents? And how much more do you gain, I guess, out of 2 games with teams like that before you really get going?
Well, we've always had an exhibition game, and for as long as I can remember, with Davison and Coach McKillop, our relationship, we had been scrimmaging them for as long as I can remember, and then we had before coming here, we had 2 of those at Texas where we scrimmaged Gonzaga. Our 2 scrimmages for a long time was Davison and Gonzaga, and which we thought was so beneficial to us to get 2 different looks, total different looks in terms of the way those 2 teams played. And now, obviously, with Michigan State, Tom and I talked about it often, but the commitment that I had to Coach McKillop, and certainly have great respect for him and his program, but we also felt maybe now's a good time with the change there that we could try something different, especially with this group, knowing that we were wanting to play maybe a little different style this coming year, and playing against 2 teams that are physical up front, very physical, and but we're excited about both of them, and 2 teams that are certainly capable of playing for the national championship, and so early we're going to get a chance to see exactly where we are.
In terms of, is Olivier anywhere near the level that he was when he got hurt last year? Has he already gotten back to there? And with his development in general, where is he now compared to maybe the player you thought you had when you recruited him?
I don't think we are as a team back where we were when we ended the year last year. We're certainly building to that point. I think Olivier being able to come back from his injury and have a chance to spend some really quality time with his national team, just to play basketball was huge for him. Even though he wasn't here with us, I think overall being able to play games as opposed to practicing the way that we do, and was really helpful to him. I think he's again working. And I keep telling him we've got to get him not only back where he was, because he had really started doing the things that we felt that he could do when we recruited him, and now we got to get him back there quicker and then get him beyond that, because he, Urosh, Jonas, and Tobey, their development is going to be a real key to how much better we can get, because we need to be better inside, both offensively and defensively. We need those guys to do a great job with particularly ball screen defense, and obviously our guards have got to get better there too, but our post guys, those 4 guys, it's important, and like I said, we know we can play small if we have to, and but the development of those post guys is really going to be critical to us.
Speaking of that, what about Jonas and the strides he made this all?
Same thing. I think the mindset's got to be there where it starts defensively, and that means not only being able to defend, and Jonas does give us a rim protector, a guy that can block some shots, and he's willing to do that. But rebounding is going to be key for all those guys. We've got to have great production from those guys on the glass, and certainly we need a physical presence inside from all of them. And Jonas he's made strides as you would expect him to do, but now it's consistency with him and the physicality. I mean, we're a physical team, and when you and he's learning. He made great strides a year ago. He really did, and he's made some again, but he's going to have to keep making those strides. And I would say that about anybody on our front line, and I would say it about some of our guards too.
Ben, Ryan, and Graham.
Rick, just how do you feel about the leadership kind of compared to years past? Last year, it seemed like it took half a year to get the leadership going on the team. Do you feel comfortable where it is going into the season?
I think we're ahead, and a lot of it had to do with, I go back, I think a lot of we were slow getting going because I don't know if I could just pinpoint one reason, but I think what Zakai brought to us made a major impact on our entire program and every guy here. I mean, he was one of those guys that wasn't going to come in and try to overstep his boundaries, but I think his day-to-day mindset and the way he goes about things and his confidence, he's an extremely confident player, competitive, and I do think that his mindset a year ago had a really a big-time impact on our team. And then Santi and Josiah, they took off with it. It was where, again, accountability would be the word, where they really started holding each other accountable, and that's the best part of it. When you got I talk about it all the time, you got a team that's got great leadership, and it's hard to come by. It really is. But I do think the best teams have it, and I think oftentimes it comes from different players in different ways. But I do think that once it took off, and I have to give Zakai a lot of the credit for it, because I just think he gave our program a confidence that we'd been lacking for a while.
Two-part question. Just Coach Schwartz gone. Does that change anything you guys want to do defensively? And then has there been an assistant coach that's kind of stepped up and taken the reins of running defense, or was it just Mike Knady?
Yeah, what we've always done, Coach Gainey, Coach Polinsky will be the guys, but again, we've had our defensive system in place for a long time, and through a long time, but obviously we tweak something all the time. We're gonna make it work to match our personnel. We're gonna go back and we do it, study where we go back and look at our games, and a year ago where were we lacking and where we have to get better, and but the fact is, I think we've got a chance to be another terrific team, and sometimes the numbers are important, no doubt about it. When you look at numbers, and we rank up there high in all of them, but from a coaching standpoint, you look at the fundamentals and where we know that we've got to get better. That would even help us be even better, and those are the areas that, again, we've got to get better. And I would say rebounding is a big part of it. We've got to do a better job both ends there, and then our ball screen defense has got to be better. And I think in some ways we've got to get a little more physical, believe it or not, especially guarding the ball one-on-one.
Rick, you had 3 1-and-dones the last couple of years. Where does Julian, he would be in that conversation, but where does his skill set and kind of his situation compare and contrast to the guys you've had the last couple of years?
I think when I think of Julian, it's his mindset. I don't think Julian thinks about one and done. I think he's his family from the very beginning told us, hey, we'll make that decision when it's time to be made. I think he's gone about it. His time here, it's been an incredible, almost like a dream to coach him, because I tell everybody, I don't know individually if anyone has spent more time with Garrett. I mean, we've had a lot of guys spend above and beyond, but most of the time it's guys having to lose weight, do whatever. Those guys never look forward to that, but Julian on his own has searched out Garrett more than anybody, because he wants to be the best player he can be. He came in right away, and again, there's no sense of entitlement on his part at all. He's come in, he just wanted to work hard, be accepted. I think he's earned his teammates' respect because he's in his own way. He's just gone about working hard. He certainly wants to be coached. He wants to get better, and I think if you talk to him or even his family, his circle of trust there, they would tell you, hey, there will be a time to make those decisions. And but I can tell you we're excited and happy that he's with us, because he gives us, again, another guy that has terrific versatility, and as he continues to grow and understand the game more and more, I mean, he's got a wealth of talent, and but it's his overall mindset that is really so much fun to be around, because he really is about all the right things and wanting to get better.
Jimmy the mic.
Rick, Tyreek Key, what do you like about him and what do you see his role being?
Same thing a lot with Julian. You know, just came in and not saying a whole lot, but just letting their work ethic speak for itself. I mean, two guys that love to be in the gym, but Tyreek came in, and I think he's so much more than probably advertised. You know, we obviously knew him, about him, probably a great deal from the fact that Kevin Feltner with the Tennessee Bobcats, who had stayed in touch with him a long time, and you know, we actually, you know, we recruited Tyreek and coming out of high school, but at the time we weren't sure. We wanted to wait till the spring, but he felt like he had a situation he wanted to be a part of, so we've known about him. And but everybody talks about his scoring. I think he's so much more than that. I think he's a guy that, again, that can play multiple positions, and he's valuable in the fact that he can do that. High-level competitor. You know, he can score the ball at many different ways, but a great teammate. Again, he every day. I mean, he doesn't have days off. I mean, you watch him come to practice, mentally, physically. I'm not saying he's perfect every day, but in terms of his approach to what he's trying to do, he's older, and he's got just a great attitude on, okay, here's today. I've got to find a way to get better, whether he's coming in for his individual work or whatever he's doing as a team, and we're really fortunate to have him.
Rick, you guys shot a lot more three-pointers last season than you usually had. Was that a byproduct of the players, and do you anticipate that continuing to be an identity for this year's team?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. We're never going to ask players to do something they can't do consistently and be good at it. And we felt like last year we had a team that could shoot threes. We feel like we got a team this year that can. And but with that said, you know, we've got to be able to, because when you get known for a team that can shoot threes, people are going to come out there, and now you have to have somebody who can go to work inside and make them play that way too. So we're not going to abandon what we try to do inside around the rim and those type of things. But you know, like I said earlier, we've got guys that we tell them if they're open, we want them to shoot it, and that's important, and that's where we can get better rebounding the ball, knowing that shots are coming up when they're open, going up when they're open, and we've got to go make that effort to try to get a rebound if necessary. But I think that we'll probably shoot as many or more than we did a year ago if it goes the way it's been going.
Rick in the back here, in the way back. Chris Lofton's retirement, when you broke the news to him, what was that like, and then what does he need to program?
Well, that was Tom's idea on how to do that, you know. And Chris is around when he's in town. He comes around a lot. We've enjoyed him since we've been here, and the players enjoy him because you know he's always in the gym. He watches our guys, and then he'll normally stick around or do something on his own. And actually, the other day when I last saw him, he was in the gym working out, and I said, "What are you getting ready for?" He said, "This is just my piece right here. I like doing this." And in that way, I think the guys have watched him, a guy, go about his business the way he has. And but he said he thought something was going on, but I'm not sure he did until the very end. But the fact is, it's a great honor for him to do what he did. And again, it was something that it was just a matter of time, and it was all based on his schedule. Nobody wants to retire somebody's jersey if they can't be here. Or so when you did you say number? What did you say? Yeah, you always change stuff, so I don't. Yeah, but anyway, it was just a matter of his schedule and the fact that he's here and being from the state of Kentucky. I just think it's and that's what he would like to do. I mean, if we asked him to pick the date, he would have picked a game like that too. And but again, it's a well-deserved honor you can't find a finer person, and certainly he loves Tennessee and made an unbelievable impact in more ways than we all know.
Tyler?
Going back to that idea of playing faster, do you feel like the players have already sort of bought into that mindset, and do you think that's something they could really get excited about when we get behind?
Well, they all will tell you that, but they don't realize how hard it is. It's hard. It's really hard to play fast. It's hard to play quick because, you play quick, sometimes you get down the floor, you get a great look within 3 or 4 seconds, 5 seconds, you shoot, you miss, and if you play defense the way you want to, oftentimes you're going to be on that end for 20, 25, 27 seconds. and then go back and get it again and shoot again. So it's hard. It's a commitment that has to be made where if you're going to shoot it that quick, you got to run. You got to try to outrun people. Try to get to your space on the floor. We're always talking about attacking space. Attack your space. Know what you're good at. Get to it. But it's not easy. Again, they all players say, "I want to run and play fast." But like I said, it's so much harder than people think. And you're either going to play fast somewhere in between. And I think the key though is being able to play at all different speeds, because some teams they're going to hold the ball on you. They're going to try to shorten the game. So you've got to have a mindset that what you do on the offensive end, you're going to do it. You're going to believe in it. You're going to live with it. But then, if we're not making the kind of shots we want to make, when we call something where we've got to maybe go at somebody to get them in foul trouble or get to the foul line, players have to be able to make that adjustment too. But the mindset of playing fast and quick, it's got to be developed, because it's, as much as players talk about it, it's not innate. You got to develop it.
Ben, then Grant, we got time for one more if we got it.
Rick, just being a month out, how do you feel about your team's ability to rebound and where you all are rebounding just a month out?
Well, it's been an emphasis with our coaching staff, and I think they've done a good job with our guys in practice. But we'll see. You know, I mean, it's the same thing. That's not something that guys particularly want to do. I think the guys that understand what goes into winning figures it out, and the guys that do it the most will probably be the guys that play the most, because that's rebounding impacts the game in ways that I think most people don't understand. I mean, you've got to rebound a basketball. You can't be a great defensive team if you can't finish it with a solid defensive rebound, and certainly you can't be a team if you're going to play quick, think you're going to shoot it and be one and done. You've got to go get some second chances. The good teams are going to rebound offensively probably somewhere between 43, 44, 45% of their misses, and we've got to get better there.
Rick, with the Gonzaga scrimmage, it's pretty unique with the charity aspect of it. Where did that come into play in your work with the McClendon Foundation?
Well, Mark Few had called me about it, and you know, and I think to get the game to be the game, it had to be for a foundation, and there's not a right now for the McClendon Foundation. John McClendon, just an unbelievable pioneer in our game and what he stood for, everything he stood for, and it's a foundation that is set up for minorities to get into athletic administration, and so obviously to get the game the way we got it right now. And again, Mark called me about it. Was, you know, certainly some of the proceeds will go that way. And then whatever else comes from it, it could be some NIL opportunities for players. And we'd like to make it for every player that's there, if possible. But the fact is, we're excited about it. Again, I think I mean, it's a game. You know, we're going to play it, and I think it'll be well attended there, and certainly hope that, you know, it's picked up by a lot of people from a streaming standpoint.
Do you feel like this is the most versatile team you've had since you've been here?
You know, I could say yes in some ways. I do, because again, I don't know at any point in time. I'd say that we could put what would be considered 5 perimeter players out there at one time, and one reason we'd be able to do that is because of Josiah, because he's got elite hands, and what he does on the defensive end with his hands is really remarkable. And but we also, I think our guards, they're going to fight. If we end up doing a lot of switching with a lineup like that, they're going to fight players in the post. They're going to work hard and be competitive there. And like I said, the versatility offensively can't be there if you can't do it on the defensive end. You got to be able to do it on both ends, and I don't think we're there yet, but maybe we can get there.
All right, Coach, thank you very much.
All right, thank you guys.
Yes, sir.